3 months ago, I came home from work to find my dad and stepmom sitting in my kitchen with smug smiles and my stepbrother Colin, leaning back in my chair like he owned the place. My dad cleared his throat and said they decided it was time for a change. They wanted me to move out so Colin could start his adult life, my house, the one I bought with my own salary, my own credit, my name on the mortgage. They tried to frame it like some family sacrifice I should happily make. You're single. You don't need all this space, my stepmom said, glancing at the walls like she was inspecting them for curtains she'd pick out. Colin smirked and said he'd been thinking about where to put his gaming setup. I felt my whole body go cold. They weren't asking, they were telling me. My dad even slid a folded piece of paper across the table, a timeline for when I'd move out. I didn't yell, I didn't argue. I just smiled like I'd swallowed a secret and said, sure, I'll handle everything, because that's when I decided they were never getting this house. For weeks, I played along. I acted overwhelmed, pretended I was looking at rentals, even sighed dramatically at dinner when my dad asked how the apartment hunt was going. Colin kept dropping hints about where he'd put his weights, his shelves, his new rug. It was like watching a dog bark at a steak behind a glass door. Meanwhile, I was gathering. I pulled every receipt, mortgage statement, property tax record, the works. I visited the county clerk to make sure nothing funky had happened with the deed. It hadn't. My name. Only my name. I scheduled a home inspection under the guise of being a courtesy for the new occupant, but really to get a professional report on the property's condition, dated, signed, stamped, all mine. The fun part? I started moving things out. Not furniture, not boxes, just things. I took the light bulbs out of the fancy fixtures my stepmom kept eyeing and replaced them with the cheap yellow ones. I swapped my nice shower head for the clunky original one from the garage. I removed the smart thermostat, the doorbell camera, the curtain rods I'd installed, even the magnetic spice racks from the kitchen, all carefully patched and painted so it looked untouched but felt empty. My dad asked once why the house felt dimmer. I shrugged. Guess I'm just packing. 2 days before the date on their little timeline, I called my dad, stepmom, and Colin to meet at the house for a walkthrough. They showed up practically buzzing, Colin holding a box labeled Colin's room. My dad had this patronizing speech ready about how proud he was that I was mature enough to move forward. I let them talk. Then I handed my dad the inspection report, the folder of receipts, the property tax statements with my name in bold letters. I told them the locks had been changed yesterday. I told them any attempt to enter without my permission would be trespassing, and the police would be called immediately. The color drained from his face so fast it was almost funny. My stepmom sputtered something about family agreements. Colin asked where the TV was. I told him it was in my new storage unit, along with anything else I didn't feel like leaving behind. My dad finally snapped, saying he'd let me live here because he thought I was responsible enough to manage it. But now he saw I was selfish. I cut him off. You didn't let me do anything. I bought this house. I pay every bill. You decided your wife's son deserved it more than me. And you were wrong. Colin muttered that they'd already given notice at their apartment. I smiled the widest smile of my life. Guess you better start packing then. They left in absolute silence. That night, I sat on my couch, the couch they thought would be Colin's, and turned on the TV they didn't know was tucked safely in my friend's garage until the locks were changed. Every corner of the house felt like mine again. They haven't spoken to me since, and I sleep like a baby under my own roof.